I'm looking for Tamara, the Bloody Baron's daughter. Your brother said I'd find her here.
Wojtek sent you, sir.
How else would I know she was here?
Wait a moment. I'll fetch her straight away.
You're looking for me, and who might you be? My father sent you?
Yeah, to see if you're still alive, and well. I'm Gerald of Rivia.
I'm quite alive and extraordinarily well, Gerald of Rivia. Better than I've ever been in this rotten life of mine, and now that you've seen me, I bid you farewell.
Wait.
We've nothing more to talk about.
Your father's a vile man. You're angry and bitter. Can't blame you.
Why do you help him then? Why did you take this job?
Because he knows something about someone dear to me. Promised to tell me if I found you and your mother.
Got it. A bit of blackmail. Just his style. Well, now you've found me, you can tell him I'm alive and I'm never coming back.
Before I agreed to look for you, your father told me his version of events. Tell me yours.
Mine? It's dull as life amidst the swamps. My earliest memories are of a drunken father lying under the stairs, caked in mud and clutching a bottle. Next dozen years, pretty much the same. Father would drink, disappear for days, then come home in a rage and send furniture flying. Thank the gods for war. I was glad every time they sent him off. And the quarrels. I remember him screaming at Mum, the thuds as he beat her, then her sobbing. I'd hide under my bed and long for silence. That's the long and short of it. Multiply by 19 and there you have my life. Finally, we'd had enough, Mum and me. He crossed the line and we fled.
I don't mean to pry, but I know your mother had a miscarriage.
His doing? He shoved her, she fell, that's how it started. We were alone, no one to help, blood everywhere. Worst night of my life.
Sorry. Must have been hard for you both.
Mum was in shock. She was raving that it was better this way, that she never wanted the child. Must have had a fever. She was losing blood the whole time.
She didn't want the child?
Said she'd sooner cut open her gut than bear another child from his seed.
Wojtek said some monster carried off your mother.
That is what happened. It was enormous, twice the size of a bear, but much quicker and more agile. It grabbed Mum before we could react. Now I don't even know if she's alive.
Your mother's in Crookback Bog. Seems quite happy, actually. Though I think she's not quite right in the head.
What? She lives! I must go there at once and get her out!
Wouldn't recommend venturing into the swamp.
I've made my decision. Won't let anyone talk me out of it.
What will you do now?
Find my mum.
You realize that might not be that easy.
Don't worry, I'm not daft enough to believe I can do it alone. I've got some new friends now. Powerful friends. They'll help me.
What about your father?
Who? Oh, him. I don't care. I won't go back to him. That bit of my life? Forgotten it already.
Who are these friends, if it's not a secret?
No secret. Heard of the Church of the Eternal Fire? A priest helped me contact the Redanian witch hunters. Righteous, brave men. They'll help me.
Hence the candlesticks in your room. So you believe in the eternal fire?
Once the heat of the fire has set your heart aflame, it gives you strength and leads you down the path of truth for the rest of your life. I hope it'll bless you with its warmth one day.
Thanks. Thing is, fire's tricky. It's easy to get burned.
Well, well. A witcher. Never thought the Baron would stoop to hiring a monster slayer. Though I hear you're good at tracking things down.
Glad you know who I am. Haven't introduced yourself, though.
Graden. witch hunter in the service of His Royal Majesty Radovid of Redania. I'm certain you've heard of us.
Rings a bell.
If the Bloody Baron sent you to fetch his daughter, you'd best face it. You will fail in your task.
I appreciate your concern, but I don't need it. As for Tamara, she can make her own decisions.
Noble of you. A killer for hire abandoning his bounty for the good of another. The hunters and the Church of the Eternal Fire thank you. So the Baron hired a witcher to find his daughter. Interesting.
Desperate fathers have been known to do a lot to find their daughters.
Unexpected from a witcher. I thought your mutations cleansed you of humanity. Stripped you of emotions.
You don't need mutations to strip men of their humanity. I've seen plenty of examples. Where are you gonna take her?
Tamara must rest. She's had a harrowing experience. When the warmth of the Eternal Fire has restored her strength, we shall see about finding her mother.
Before you go, your father asked me to give you this.
Clara? Father told you to give me Clara. Funny how he thought to buy me back with a memory. Tell him one gesture could never make up for a ruined childhood. So long, Witcher. In spite of all, I'm grateful you gave me a choice. Didn't force me to go back to the tyrant.
Hope you know what you're getting yourself into. So long, and good luck.
Lands of the North, Velen. I guess we have to wait a second. The Land of Velen, located in western Tamara, with its capital endorsed Velen, is one of the poorest provinces of the kingdom. Its territory encompasses the Isle of Thaned, home to the famous Magic Academy, which along with Gorst Velen constitutes the commercial and developmental mainspring of the entire province. Velen is a stop on the Novigrad trade route running through Sidaris, Vergen, Brugge, Sintra, and other such southerly realms. Velnaires subside primarily on agriculture, crafting and animal husbandry. The province is practically deprived of all natural resources. It contains a great deal of forests, wetlands, and cultivated woods, though the greatest part of it is covered in swamps and bogs. Do it yourself. How many times have you cursed a tailor for sewing a shirt more crooked than the infamous home in Novigrad? How many times have you argued with a smith who proved unable to forge a simple horseshoe in a month? How many times will you steal food from your children's mouths because some armorer demands a Koviri fortune for a home helmet? Enough! Basta, I say, and so should you, empowered by the tome you hold in your hands and a few simple tools. You shall be able to perform basic repairs all by yourself. I wouldn't call a horseshoe basic repair, and perhaps even create something from scratch. I mean, it's relatively complicated. The forging alone maybe could be doable, but preparing the shoe, the foot of a horse, I mean, you need to remove the overgrown from the hoof, and then you need to remove the old horseshoe, and then you need to clean the area, and then you need to hammer in the new horseshoe with iron nails. And if you remove too much, or if you hammer them too deep, or in a wrong angle, you have giant problems, especially since you need a certain style, a certain technique to hammer in the nails so that you can easily remove them later. Since you have to think about the future. So the nails must keep the horseshoe on, but you also want them to, be easily removable next time you're going to have to set a new horseshoe onto the hoofs of the horse. So that's not basic repair. There's a reason why there's still a ferryman horse ones around. So show those extortioners from the crafting guilds who shall make the fool of whom, roll up your sleeves and get to work. Smoking pipe, vial, raspberry juice. Mysterious letter. Nibbles. All is prepared. We await only your arrival, my lord. When I told the commander of your commitment and zeal, he agreed to welcome you into our ranks at once. You will be put through preliminary training, but you already know how to ride and wield a blade, and thus have already mastered the essentials. The rest will not take much time. As soon as you don our colors, we will set out in search of your mother, and we will find her. I promise. With a heart of iron, we will succeed, even if we have to comb every inch of Velen. Okay. Is there anything in this house that we can loot? Palm fiber, water, dumpling, dried fruit, ladle, do it yourself. We had that before. For you. Why do we... Whoa, I want this armor. Damn. Crystallized essence, sword for which we had that before. So we had that before. Water, butter knife, inkwell, doll, pearls of the north, Novigrad. Ah, no one can claim to have traveled the northern realms who has not been to Novigrad. If I were forced to list what during my many mentorings has made the greatest impression on me, it would be precisely this great and yet at the same time free city. A metropolis worthy of the Empire. Its only flaw is that the civilization Nilfgaard carries within her has not yet enlightened it. That is why hordes of reactionary cultists of the Eternal Fire dwell in the midst of its excellent buildings and superb commercial infrastructure. One feels as though superstition is how the local hierarch and his temple guard cement their power over the city dwellers, and many they are to control, for the city counts no less than 30,000 of inhabitants. While strolling through its fabulous port, surrounded by marvels of architecture, it is hard to imagine that centuries ago Novigrad was a mere minor elven townstead. When the city fell into the hands of the Nordlings, its problems grew exponentially. For as is well known, the people of the north can do a great many things, but peaceful and orderly cohabitation is not one of them. And so Novigrad first belonged to Redania, and then fell under Temerian rule, until finally, after endless compromises and bargains, it at last became a free city. But is the city truly free? I dare to doubt it. Redanian influence makes itself felt too strongly on every street corner, and the fact that the city is located within Radovic's territory speaks for itself. While wandering the city's streets, I came across 4 water mills, 8 banks, and nearly 19 pawn shops. There are also a great many houses of simple pleasures such as taverns and brothels, and Novigrad's commitment to matter of faith is borne witness to by the fact that the city contains no less than, I kid you not, 19 temples to the Eternal Fire. I don't even know how many churches there are in Rome. Does Rome have more than 19 churches? Probably depends if you count chapels. How many churches are in Rome? Let's ask a question. I beg your pardon. Rome has over 900 churches. What? In Rome there are approximately 900 public churches. If you include private chapels located in historic buildings, the number of churches is closer to 1,600. That's ridiculous. Wow, more than 1,000 churches. Okay, yes, chapels and all. In one city. What the heck? What more can be said? I think Novigrad has all the makings of the capital of the world, and perhaps that is what will one day become. First, however, someone needs to bring order to within her walls. Okay. I will bring order, but first I'm going to loot. Oh, the shiny stuff in this house? Hello? No. Okay. Let's see. Let's return to our troll friend.
And chicken merchant. Gravity to call. Private Slate, report on order.
Just so happens I have some paint on me.
Oh! 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 Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
Has paint, but how? Dunno.
Might be a problem.
Man's how no. I order. Man's knows.
I guess I do. Depends what.
Birdo colory. Redania birdo. Shields like.
Guess I can give it a shot. Got a brush?
Beautiful. Pretty birdo.
Think so? As long as you're happy with it.
Man's good. Not like other mans take cues. Gerald said, ask for more.
That's it?
Okay. Punching air, swords to sky. No blood scum must die. Oh, let's end here with these fancy cavalry from Land of Velen. Punching air, swords to sky. No blood scum must die.
Okay, let's meet the Baron. I am not a fan of the fact that there is no fast travel point within the city. Why someone did that, I don't know. It just bothers them to walk through this every time I want to talk to the Baron. Let's see if he has coins again. We still need to... yes, 200. Okay, not that much, but enough. We need to sell stuff.
So
I'm listening. What do you come to me with?
got news of your wife.
Plowing hell, why'd you not say so forthwith? Where is she? Why have you not returned with her?
She's in Crookback Bog. Got food, a place to live, and keeps herself busy. Didn't look like she had the slightest desire to leave.
You were to bring her back, not report on the conditions she lives under.
I was supposed to find her, and I did. That was our deal, nothing more.
You still think me rotten to the core. A base bastard, don't you? You believe I alone am at fault for what happened here.
Doesn't matter what I believe.
Yet, looking at you, I see contempt. Can't speak for the world you witches inhabit, but in ours, nothing is ever black and white.
Probably gonna say you're not the only one to blame. All right then, I'm willing to hear your side of the story.
With Annie, it was love at first sight. A spear tore through my shoulder at the Battle of Anchor. She tended to my wound. Once I'd recovered, I asked her to marry me. She wept with joy. Soon after, Tamara was born. And after that, they sent me to Sidaris. A warlord had risen against King Ethan, and Foltest sent help. It was one battle to the next, one conflict after another. It was a life of war. I was seldom home, and I found comfort in drink. Grew so fond of hooch, I couldn't part with it when I did get home.
Still seems like your fault to me.
Will you let me finish?
All right. What then?
I went from front to front, battle to battle, collecting soldiers' coin, while Anna sat alone with the babe for months. Later, I learned she'd not been so alone after all. For nearly 3 years, she'd found comfort in the arms of one Evan, a childhood friend, a dog's bunghole. Understand, damn it? One tussle in the hay I'd have waved aside, put it out of my mind. But the woman cuckolded me for years, without a whisker of concern for me, for my love.
How'd you find out?
Came home one day and Anna was gone. The things too. Found a letter. She wrote that she didn't love me. That she'd left me for that knob licker and taken Tamara with her. Felt like I'd been rammed in the arse by a horse. I went to find the bugger, to get the girls back, bring them home. Yet soon as I saw him, something turned inside me, something dark. I slaughtered the shit-eating twat and fed his carcass to the dogs.
Guess they call you the Bloody Baron for a reason after all.
What?
Your nickname makes sense now.
No, that's an entirely different story.
Imagine Anna wasn't exactly pleased.
Ha! Bloody understatement if I've ever heard one. She flew into a fit, hysteria, threw herself at me, kicking and clawing. Finally grabbed a knife. It would have been the end of me if I'd not leapt aside. It was the first time I hit her. I had to calm her. Felt I had no other means. Things changed. They would never be the same. Anna tried to take her own life, and mine, several times. She would prod me, goad me, taunt me, in the hope I would hit her again, perhaps. She'd scream that I'd robbed her life of love, that I'd destroyed the idea for her, and so might as well kill her. How many times I apologized. How many armfuls of blooms and gifts I brought. She cared not a bit. 2 years of her anger had turned to indifference, broken at times were her bouts of hysteria and my bouts of drunkenness. Cannot fathom how we survived those years. But we did. Though as you know now, not everything was as it might have seemed.
Damn. Witcher, why? Why do you paint bad guys in a differential light? Why would you do something philosophical like that? Damn.
You're right. Faults on both sides, yours and hers.
I'm content that you finally see that. Very well then. If you won't bring Anna home, you might at least tell me how she landed in that blasted swamp.
Your wife is with the crones, as their servant.
What the fuck do you mean? What crones?
Ones who live in Crookback Bog.
Oh, I've heard folk speak of them, and thought it naught but tales to scare the children with. How on earth did she land there?
They fled by night. They were riding past the forest when a beast serving the crones attacked them and abducted Anna.
A beast? Bloody hell. And Tamara? Was she hurt?
No.
Oh, thank the gods for that. So, Annie? What happened to her?
The creature carried her deep into Crookback Bog. Didn't harm her, though. In fact, Anna seems content there.
Content? What is this tripe, Witcher? What in bloody blazes is she doing in that swamp?
She made a pact with the crones and... well, I think she might have lost her mind.
A pact? What the bloody hell?
She was with child, a child she didn't want to bear. Went to the crones for help. They promised to rid her of the problem in exchange for a year of her service. And they kept their word, in their own twisted way.
What do you mean?
Anna must have thought the child inside her would somehow disappear. Instead, the crones sapped her of strength, and ultimately forced her body to miscarry. I think that's when she started to lose her mind. Then they placed magic tethers on her, tethers that cause great pain when tested. A guarantee she'll pay off her debt.
A pact with witches? Bloody nightmare, sounds like some jest. We must get her out. We can't leave her there.
Venturing into the swamp, even with armed men, is just a bad idea. It's a dangerous place inherently, and I think those crones are a greater threat than anyone realizes.
I'll not sit on my arse waiting for them to return her. Would you wait? Count on their mercy if they had your daughter?
Probably not, but I'm a witcher.
And I'm a husband and a father who's fucked up his life and the lives of his loved ones. I'll gather my men, go there and retrieve Anna.
Gave Tamara your gift.
How'd she react?
Probably not like you'd have wanted. She threw the doll away.
Threw it away? Oh, gods, I hoped, despite all... Oh.
We had a deal. I've done my part. Your turn to do yours.
A word once given. Now, what did I last...
Basilisk. It had just attacked you.
Ah, right. Gargantuan. One solid brute.